Catboy Chemistry Society podcast number 3. We're here with Polygorg. What's up, man? So I have
hmm
a question. My main question is, what's up with the pipes in the background? What's that machinery supposed to be? Or are you not allowed to disclose that information to me?
Um, um, there are bees under your skin. Anyways, is it the pipes in my? Wait, let me just find where.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Where is it?
We're looking for it.
Ah, right. Hello, guys. Um, I am here. I don't know if you hear me, and I don't know if it sounds like absolute garbage because it probably does. But hey,
Uh, Igor, what's wrong? What do you mean it sounds bad on YouTube? Crackling? Wait. What? Uh, that doesn't make sense. Discord audio. So if you try to speak, I think if I like, raise your volume to 150, it should be better.
oh yeah, my volume is usually
Yeah,
quite low.
yeah. Okay, I fixed that. That should hopefully fix the podcast. Let me actually check to make sure that you know. Anyway, my browser is totally
It works on
disconnected.
Twitch.
Yeah. Check YouTube because that's the main one. There shouldn't be any
Yeah, let
feed.
me just.
Okay, it seems
Ah,
YouTube works on my end. I think it might just be an internet issue. I'm
yeah,
and
one
I'm
second, I gotta get
using a
something real
and
quick.
I'm using a German VPN, so that's hilarious. Okay, it seems to work. Alright, moving on. So today I'm actually plating my electrodes. As I mentioned earlier, that I filmed the entire process of making the electrode. Actually, I had to film the entire process of preparing a titanium substrate for the electrode. And I discovered something amazing. The sodium fluoride etching bath works really good if you have what's it called? If you have if you have sonication, I had a sonicator I never used, and I just put my NAF and all of that in there, and it eats the titanium really well. Like it actually etches the surface as if it's been sandblasted.
Sounds sketchy as shit.
It's not sketchy, it's perfect. So yeah, I can etch titanium faster than anything just by using a sonicator, sodium fluoride, and oxalic acid. And it's
Okay, fair.
actually really good. It cleaned up the surface very well. I mean, that video is coming out soon, so you all will see it. Hey, Brainiac, what's up?
Greetings.
Welcome to the CCS third official podcast. So, recently I've seen you post a picture of your iridium tantalum electrode. It seems that they didn't send it with a handle. Did you tell the seller specifically to send you one with a handle, or did you
I did
forget?
not, so it's
Be-
my problem.
yeah, because I told you that if you're gonna buy from these guys, you have to specifically tell them to send you one with a handle, and they will.
Oh man, I did not recognize or like I did
I
not realize I had to do that.
You
It
had
just
to do.
went
I
over my head.
said that at the very beginning. I think it must have slipped your mind.
It totally did.
It's okay, man. It's not like you're gonna use You can just do the four pieces of wire, like threaded through the mesh, and just have like a common feed and just suspend it. It will be completely fine. And if you want it to be more secure than that, you can just have a titanium bus bar that suspends through it, or you can sandpaper some of the coating off up there, just on the upper side, and spot weld it. with the
Yeah,
argon
I'm
flow.
thinking I actually have a few ideas for how
Yeah,
to do this. I might immerse it in like a what's the shape called? In like a kite
yeah.
shape, right? Just have an edge pointing up because here on the very edge
Yeah,
is
I mean, you're not going to
basically a
run
wire.
200 milliamps per centimeter squared of current density. You're making sulfuric acid. So you're going to be
No, I'll
fine.
just doing I'll just be doing like 3 amps total. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
don't.
yeah. Then you don't need to get an actual, bus bar onto here. You can literally just thread a wire through the edge and have it hang in diamond shape. And, it will be mostly completely fine, to be honest, for your purposes.
To be a little more secure than that, so I'm probably gonna crimp like a ferrule onto it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's completely fine. I'm just in my mind, I have a mental image of what you're doing. It may not be the most accurate. These mental
Uh,
images help me build my setups too. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I guess I'll get it done. The main disappointment here is I wanted to hang this anode really close to the membrane, and it's conveniently the exact same size as the membrane. So I was
Oh,
really looking forward to having those two squares just line up perfectly, but I guess that's out the window now.
damn. It's the same. I figured it'd be the same size as the membrane, but hey, you know.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be better than the lead dioxide one anyway
Well,
because the
no, yeah,
geometry was just
obviously.
awful.
The lead dioxide one was horrible because yeah, the geometry is horrible and it keeps corroding. Now you have an iridium tantalum electrode that will take whatever brunt your water has. So you will not have any
Mm.
problems with the dirty water or anything in there. Just avoid fluoride. In fact, it's really still better that you use distilled water because we don't want any contaminants that could damage the electrode. Those being phosphate, fluoride, and I think barium. Barium fucks with the
I can
coating
rule
as
out
well.
phosphate and barium at this point, but I guess considering how acidic the anode medium was, I can't guarantee that no HF made it over. But then again, it being well water, I really don't think there was any fluoride in it to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, as
Yeah,
a
maybe trace.
yeah, but that's completely fine. MMO
Definitely less than would be in
electrodes,
tap water.
MMO electrodes can handle a bit of fluoride, just not, you know, they can handle a bit, but you can't put too
The only reason
much.
I'm not fully certain of the quality of my distillate is because it did splash a little bit once, so I guess technically 5 mils of the original well
That's
water made it over.
completely
But
fine. That's not a
I'm really
problem at all.
thinking there's gonna be no more than nanograms of fluoride.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're approaching Curie limits here. Is that what it's called? Where you have a
We're,
Yeah, no,
we're,
dilution.
we're
it's I think it can't possibly be enough to
Yeah,
attack
I
the entire
know.
surface.
Yeah, I know. Basically, we're really approaching abysmal levels of impurities over here.
yeah, to be completely honest, probably starting your car anywhere next to it is gonna give you more impurities.
Probably
Homeopathy,
distilling
man.
it again is gonna put more impurities
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
than now.
Homeopathy. This is exactly what's happening. It's literally homeopathy in terms of
Well,
the
that is that
impurities.
that is what most synthesis would be.
Oh man.
How do you like my audio, by the way? I dug out a Zoom H5 studio mic.
Nice.
It's got to be
Your
a little
audio
better
is
than my laptop
very
mic.
It's
crisp.
quite fancy.
Very nice.
I have no idea what my audio is doing,
My
by the
setup.
way.
I
What's
wonder
that?
I wonder if, people on Twitch are gonna understand what I'm doing right now because I mostly stream games on Twitch. Ah, whatever. They're gonna have to deal with their fucking science lesson of the day, I guess, or the night.
Oh yeah.
Imagine all you watch every day is just this cat boy
Like,
VTuber
nya,
playing
nya,
Apex
nya, what's
Legends and
up,
shit.
yo?
And
And it,
then one evening he just goes online like, "Oh, today we're gonna make some potassium perchlorate, bitch."
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna be surprised, I actually kind of lost one follower like the other day because of a podcast, but I don't care. I gained like fucking six on YouTube, so I
Literally
mean,
canceled.
doesn't matter. They probably are just like shit. I guess my fantasy's ruined. I'm like, dude, If you
Oh
read my
no.
bio, it explains the whole thing.
Oh no, the catboy isn't actually a catboy permanently and does actually exist in the real world.
Yeah,
Well, at
whatever
least
shall
he's
we
not
do?
using a feminine voice
Oh yeah,
converted
imagine
to.
if I'm using it right now. Actually, I can, but I'm not going to, because there's no point. Imagine all
I
of a
Yeah.
imagine all
sudden
the
in a
time the VTuber's
fucking
like,
podcast, right? And I
then
talk
one
about,
video come like, "What's up, bitches? We're
yeah,
gonna do
what's
some
up, guys? We
electrochemistry."
do some electrochemistry. It's me, Mr. Voice.
Oh, yeah, sure, why not? I guess you could do that.
Yeah,
On another
imagine.
note, I
What?
sent you an image. You might wanna
Oh,
look
let's
at that over
see.
on
Let's
Discord.
see what it is, man. Okay.
It was a large boy.
Oh my god, that's a really large high voltage capacitor or something. Is it? Yeah, that's a high
Yeah, yeah.
voltage. I see 15,000 volts on its rating. What's this used for?
Stuff.
It's 1,500 volts, by the way. Anyways, I believe this is out of a pulse laser. I don't
Wow.
remember. I have two of them. Um, and I have absolutely no use for them. But hey, why not?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
You should post it somewhere so I can see it too.
Oh wait, yeah. Let me just let's. Oh, where would I put it? I'll put it in the channel with this channel.
Yeah.
That
Channel within the channel within the channel. Oh my god.
yes, Inception.
Channelception indeed.
There is a chat to the voice chat now.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a while now.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Marco Reps had exactly the same one in one of his videos.
Yeah. You figured it out. That's where it's from.
Hell yeah. Wait, is it the actual one?
That's one of them.
No way. That's awesome.
I got it. Yeah, a friend got it straight from him, and I got it from him.
Wow.
That's epic.
Yeah. So I basically got that thing for free, which is also, good thing.
I got my Americium from Bionerd.
Oh shit, bionerd. I remember that channel. Is she still active?
No, she's completely gone.
What happened?
I don't know. At some point, she just
Yeah.
started spending a lot of time in Chernobyl, and then she stopped uploading.
Yeah, what the
She
fuck
showed up in one of
happened?
Veritasium's videos.
Seriously. like she was one of my favorite, YouTubers of the past. Like BioNerd was a lot like Nerd Rage in terms of, science content, but didn't do any experiments, but more explored and stuff.
Yeah, she was no nonsense, no presentation.
Yeah. Not
science.
only that, her earlier videos were actually on bio stuff, like on microscopy and not radioactivity. If you remember her from the very beginning. And Tom from not Tom the Explosions and Fire, the another Tom called Anti-Protons. You remember that channel?
I remember the name.
Yeah. Like, this is Tom from anti-proton.com, and we are reviewing this Geiger counter. How good is it? Is it complete shit? Does the detector even read the right reading? I'm going to compare it to my scintillator over here. Yeah, that dude. You know that his later videos before he disappeared actually was microscopy and stuff? And I commented in his video, hey, are you like switching souls with BioNerd? You're doing literally what she was doing. Are you two in a relationship? And he actually answered pretty angrily to my comment and said, no, we're not. This is a pure coincidence. I'm like, sure it
Oh
is.
yes, you found it out.
He got mad.
That is suspicious.
Yeah, I just made a guess. I think he actually had some sort of meeting because they crossed over really. Because Bioner started talking about radioactivity, and all of a sudden I see antiprotons talking about like fucking microbes and shit, and in a similar style to BioNerd's earlier videos, and I was confused. I'm like,
You know, the
dude,
big plot twist is it's the same person.
no, it's not. One's a dude, one's a chick. And I've seen their faces, so they can't do the whole, oh my god,
Yeah,
what's up, dude? They can't do that fucking shit.
who knows?
Ah,
The
yeah.
magic of editing.
The magic of editing and cosplay.
Well, she did have short hair.
Ah, yeah. There you go. See. But she also had hyperthyroidism that she needed technetium to be injected into her.
That's
Then
true.
she was the first ever Nile Red. She started to literally cook her own piss and measure its radioactivity. You
Do
remember
you want to
that
hear?
video?
Do you want to hear the weirdest niche flex ever?
What?
I held the Technetium piss vial.
Oh my god, are you fucking you literally held that fucking celebrity fucking dude, you're like this is like gamer girl bathwater before it was even invented.
No, this is way worse.
This part was
This
so.
is way worse. It can give you cancer.
And adding on to that, that is probably a thing that I would sell if you'd hold them.
That's gonna be the title of the podcast. Holding bionerd's technetium urea vial. If anyone will get the
I think if you want
technetium
to play it
vial.
like YouTube, you're gonna have to say Technetium piss.
Yeah, yeah. Bionerd's
Yeah, but
technetium.
then people are gonna think we're Nile Red. That would be an issue too.
No, yeah, yeah. No, 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 they're not. They're not.
Cares.
They're not. This is
It's
actually
good.
perfect. That's a perfect title. Holding Bionerd's technetium piss. Yeah, and I'm gonna actually even mention her channel with the new ad command so that maybe she'll see it
Well,
and revive
Well,
from the
maybe,
dead.
maybe not.
did she get an alias? Because don't you have to claim it?
I don't
No, no, no.
I
Don't actually ping her though, because I'm not sure she'd be happy about me telling this to people.
Fine, fine,
Yeah,
fine, fine,
let's keep it a
fine,
secret.
fine. I will just put it in the title, and if she discovers or not, dude, I swear she's gonna come to your house and be like, "You told them about my piss file."
She has my address. I mean,
She
see
has
it
your
on timeline.
address. It's gonna be like she's gonna throw radon gas or give you some polonium 210 in your tea.
I mean, she straight up sent me americium and cesium too. Like, look,
The
look,
next thing's
we
gonna be
met.
polonium, man, and it's not gonna come in a sample vial. It's gonna come
We
in a
like found each other on
birthday
YouTube
cake.
in 2008-9, and we were both element collectors, and that was your average 13, 14-year-old cool.
Okay.
But I guess somehow she found it entertaining, and so we became like pen pals. We started sending each other shit, completing each other's element collections.
Just
I kind of miss
ship in
those
some
days.
radioactivity.
They were really wholesome.
Yeah.
You
You
could
know,
actually
one of
have,
her most popular videos though was that that remix of Portal because her voice sounds actually the same as the voice actor of GLaDOS from Portal. So the classic
yeah, I did a better edition of that.
Melodyne edit actually
Well,
sounds
that's
exactly
one
the
of her
same.
most popular videos.
Yeah, look at all those alpha decay, you know.
Damn it. Because I made I downloaded Melodyne, which apparently is what they used to make the GLaDOS voice.
Dude, what a
And
coincidence. Oh
I
my
did a better
god.
version of it.
Yeah, I saw it. Wait, that was you? That was your video? Damn.
I don't think it was my video. She made her own version, and I said
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
do
there
it
was
better,
another
so I made a
version
response.
that I saw that sounded better. That was yours?
That might have been mine.
Shit. Wait, is it still up?
Yeah.
Oh my god, 1 fucking second over here. Okay, GLaDOS loves radioactivity. Oh my god, I swear. Dude. Because I see that it's by Dennis W. That's the version
Yep,
I
that's
watch.
me.
Oh my god, we come full circle to the fucking day. Holy shit.
Wow.
I'm with that literally That video actually gave me some inspiration to fuck around with Melodyne, and it
Oh
actually
yeah.
may have influenced me to mess with voices and gave me the idea of naming my, just but I didn't voice train back then. I messed with voice changers.
Right.
So
That's
basically,
awesome.
that video spawned whatever Neruchan is.
It helped. It helps. You help spawn the cat boy.
Oh lord.
You did
I
this
do
to
I
me,
do suppose
oh!
radioactivity would be beneficial to that.
Yeah!
Well, we all know the nukes are responsible for anime.
Oh my god, dude! I don't know whether to call this podcast. I'm gonna call it Technetium Piss. That's the highlight for sure. That was like
Technetium piss and just ant coming full circle, maybe, you know?
okay. No, it's just gonna be the title's gonna be CCS Podcast 3. Actually, I can even change it right now. Ah, my god, I love Restream. Holding bionerds. Okay, it's officially changed. Holding bionerd23's Technetium piss vial. Damn, I
I
hope
think what got
that's.
me interested in her channel is it was her it was a video, it was 5 minutes long of just a recording of her ECG.
What is
Apparently she was working out while
electrocephalograph, right?
inducing her arrhythmia. And she
What?
put this really interesting electronic music on it by Nachtwerk. And I found that really catchy. And I actually,
Arrhythmia? Isn't that
yeah,
like a bad medical condition where your heart is like beating in a bad way that can cause issues?
it is, but the version she has apparently isn't that bad. It's intermittent.
Mm.
That's still bad, man. Holy shit, I'd be worried still. That don't change a thing.
I
It's
mean,
true, but it recovers on its own, and she actually taught me to pay attention to what my heart does, and apparently,
Do you
when
have
I can
arrhythmia
confirm
too?
that personally, apparently you have a few missed beats every day, a couple dozen actually,
Ah,
mm.
and it just
Yeah, I
damn.
recovers
mean,
on its own. Normally
considering
it
how
just
many
recovers
they
the
are.
very next beat. Sometimes it takes several, but it's fine, really.
Yeah, I can
The only
see.
point at which you have a problem is when it doesn't recover.
Yeah, when you're down
Same
on
for
the
heart attacks,
floor
really.
and you just fucking can't get up because your heart just refuses to work, yeah, that's a serious problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just when it's safe like that, it's just really fascinating. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I was just
uh,
afraid because I don't know anything. Like, I'm not a medical doctor, so I wouldn't have known that there can be a safe form of arrhythmia.
Well, now you do.
Yeah,
Smarter every day.
we learn something every day. Oh my god.
Mm.
So, when are you gonna attach your new IRTA to your cell, and you'll be glad that no more annoying flakes are gonna come off this thing, right?
Well, now that I have it, I'm pretty excited to start using it. But I have a few other projects in the pipeline. I'm not sure where exactly the anode is going to fit in. I have yet to finish distilling the sulfuric acid. There's about a kilogram left of slightly wet acid.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing as well. Even after I found the process to make a new electrode. I'm gonna say this: it's more worth it to buy one. It takes more than a day to actually make the electrode because the you have to just like with the MMO, you actually have to coat it more than 20 times and partially
Mm.
bake it 19 of those times and then finally bake it on the 20th time. So I was basically doing something like that.
Is it Is it a full day's work of actively doing something, or is it a full day's
Okay,
work of like
okay.
doing
I'm
something
gonna
and
say
then waiting for
something.
for an hour?
It's like this. So the only reason why it was a full day's work is because I had to prepare the surface of a failed electrode that I plated previously, remove all the gunk that's still attached to it. In order to do that, I had
Mm-hmm.
to first reduce all of the metals or oxides that have been previously plated by running it through a sodium hydroxide solution as the cathode and running it at very high amps to just fucking blast all those metals to
Mm-hmm.
oxides to metal. Then you had to soak it in a mixture of hydrogen peroxide, acetic acid, and nitric acid, and that's just to just dissolve all of those metals, aggressively remove them. Then finally, the electrode gets treated with oxalic acid, sodium fluoride, and a sonicator bath to eat away the surface and end up having a nice etched prepared metal surface, and that took about 5 hours of work,
Mm-hmm.
of nearly active work. It was pain in the ass. Okay, that was shit. Now the next part, which is even more annoying, right, is to actually coat the dope tin oxide layer. So to make the tin oxide, right, what you need to get is tin tetrachloride pentahydrate or anhydrous tin tetrachloride. Obviously, I'm not going the anhydrous route. I don't have the equipment. So a while back, I was watching gold recovery videos on how metastatic acid causes issues with gold recovery because you end up having what's it called? You end up having a precipitate of the metastatic acid, which is tin in its +4 oxidation state. So apparently, if you also take this metastatic acid and try to dissolve it in hydrochloric acid, you get tin 4 chloride, not tin 2 chloride. And that's actually annoying for people who want to make stannous chloride because they have to reduce it. So that's a good thing for me, however. You know why? Because I need tin 4 chloride. So I did just that, right? Then I slowly evaporated once I've diluted it with ethanol. Then I added more ethanol and I added some cerium dioxide dissolved in HCl. And I essentially used this as my plating solution where I painted it onto the titanium, pre-baked it with a blowtorch till it was a certain light gray color, right? Don't bake it too hard or the titanium below will start changing color, which you don't want.
Yeah.
So you do repeat this baking step and all this shit for 20 times. And on the 21st time, you blast it hard. Because I use cerium dioxide as a dopant, it turned yellow at the end. And that's the indicator color that tells me that I fully decomposed the oxide. And that's when I finally took the electrode, let it cool down, and then plated it with lead dioxide. And that lead dioxide plating process, you have to run it at 2 milliamps per centimeter squared for approximately 12 hours to actually coat the electrode with a highly conductive layer. And then you raise the current density for a further 12 or more hours to 5 milliamps per centimeter squared to get like just a thick coating. And then finally, 2 milliamps per centimeter squared for another 4 hours to get a really strong outer coating, just to solidify it and make it stronger. So it takes a long time to make this electrode. They last long, they're really good, but it's a lot of work, both passive and active work to make them. I mean, you're only going to prepare them once and they're going to last for years. It's good, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
But
then it's perfectly reasonable to
yeah,
invest an
yeah,
entire day.
but no lead dioxide electrode will outperform IRTA in terms of inert electrolysis. However, lead dioxide electrode, the only other use they have is making perchlorates and ozone. IRTA is never going to do that. The reason why that happens is because I think I mentioned in my video of oxidizing ethanol to acetaldehyde, they have a very high oxygen evolution potential. of 1.9 volts, 0.1 to 1.3 volts, which means that you know in some situations these electrodes would rather evolve ozone than oxygen. I think I mentioned that previously. I don't want to go back to that. So yeah, that's why they're they're very good for certain reactions that involve oxidizing something. Right. Anyway.
Forgive me for asking a potentially noob question, but how does overpotential work anyway? I've heard it so many times, but I have no idea how
All
it
right.
works.
Basically, it's like this. Okay, so it means that if you have an electrode with a lower over potential and your electrode conditions or the conditions of the electrolyte make it so that you know that's the only product you're going to generate. Let's say that you have it set up with like a sulfate electrolyte, so it's only going to evolve oxygen at the like, dilute sulfate, not concentrated, because an ozone gets evolved. Dilute sulfate, right? Something like 0.5 N. And let's say you use an electrode with an overpotential that's very small. These things are so if you use an electrode with an overpotential that's very small, let's say it's one with like 1.3 volts, it means that when you run it at a particular voltage, you'd have a higher current than if you ran an electrode with a greater overpotential at the same volts. In fact, this is the method used to differentiate iridium ruthenium and iridium tantalum from each other. Like there was a problem where I know like two guys who bought MMO electrodes, both iridium tantalum and iridium ruthenium, and they asked me, shit, the Chinese sellers labeled it in Chinese and I can't read Chinese. How do I differentiate them? So knowing
Well, you use Google Lens.
Nah, nah,
That's
nah,
one
nah,
way.
nah, nah. That was one way, but he ripped the labels off. So fuck. I no, 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 no. I saved him. You know what you do? You set up a cell, right? You get your power supply, and you get a saturated sodium chloride solution. Then you
Hmm.
ensure that you have two counter electrodes, and your anode is always at a particular distance from the cathodes, and that they're of the same size as the ones you're trying to differentiate. Basically, iridium ruthenium has a lower chlorine evolution potential than iridium tantalum. So, either at constant current or constant voltage, you can differentiate them. If you run at constant current, the iridium ruthenium will run at a lower voltage than the iridium tantalum. If you run at constant voltage, the iridium ruthenium will run at a higher current than the iridium tantalum. And that's how you can use overpotential to differentiate your electrodes. That's one
I understand
application
it,
Brilliant.
for it.
and I understand how you can use it to differentiate electrodes and how it macroscopically it translates to you can do the same reaction, but your electrons are going to need a little bit extra voltage
Yeah,
at
yeah,
high over
yeah.
potential. But my
Yep,
question really
exactly.
is on the microscopic scale, what happens? I'm right now I'm thinking of it like activation energy. You want to oxidize your anion, and you can do
Yeah,
that, but you're gonna have to waste some energy on the way,
yeah.
and it's gonna turn into heat. But what exactly
Oh,
happens
yeah,
to
I've
produce the
actually read
overpotential?
those on the papers. So basically, it has something to do with the very material of the electrode. Like for some reason, like I didn't really
Yeah,
truly
some
get
intrinsically.
too far, but like for some reason it had something to do with the fact that you're using a highly oxidized version of lead as an anode versus anything else. For some reason, I didn't go too far on it, but for some reason this just refuses to evolve oxygen. I didn't like I said, I didn't go too far onto it, but it
Well, I
has it
figure it works a
has
bit.
it has something to do with the material itself, the
Hmm.
properties of the material. I mean, you can go through the rabbit hole because I wasn't particularly looking for this. It's like I didn't particularly look for this answer. Maybe you can find it because I don't know,
I'm gonna have to
honestly.
read about it because it's been on my mind for almost
Now
as
that's my
long as I know
next
what
thing to figure
electrolysis
out because
is.
I actually
Kept
want to
reading
figure
it.
this out now that you've told this to me. What is the reason why, yeah, I'm gonna reread some of these fucking papers and give you the answer. Probably through a DM or something.
It's probably thermodynamics.
Yeah, it's for sure related to thermodynamics. It's probably gonna end up with some weird electrochemical equation that makes sense of all of it.
Yes, surely.
Actually,
It's a
wait,
big
I
thing.
vaguely remember. I think
Probably got something to do with atoms.
I vaguely remember actually, because I remember in one of those lectures in university, they did mention overpotential and they had this equation. What the fuck was it called again? God damn it, even I can't remember. It was just
Wait,
long.
let me.
It was long, okay? Fucking. don't worry, I will find it. God damn, I'll find it. Because
You will find it.
I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but I think that's the one. At least I can
Maybe you should
remember.
even save it for the next episode of the
I'll
podcast.
save it for the next episode, dude, because I don't know the answer right now. Even though I'm the most voodoo electrochemist, there's just certain
Yeah, I thought of all
heavy.
people, you'd be the one who can tell me the lowdown of
If you
overpotential.
asked me this question a year ago, I probably would be able to answer it.
It's just something you don't really need, right? It's something you read off
Yeah,
the
it's
data sheet
just
and it's like, yeah, all
yeah,
right.
it's like fine, yes. Because like if you do all this math, you're gonna stress yourself out. This is the job for those people
Yeah.
writing the simulation programs, not the job for the people who say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy some of this. I'm gonna make some of this." If I was writing a thesis
Absolutely.
on like how to prepare the electrode, sure I'd include it, but I ain't doing that. I just want something that fucking works.
Totally. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
difference between, knowing how an NPN transistor works and just
Versus
going on a mouse and
actually
doing a parametric
putting an
search.
NPM transistor on a circuit board for your particular fucking application. It's
Yeah, in
Yeah,
that's
the
the
end,
you
you just
have
have
difference.
to
no
check
idea
what
what it's
voltage you
doing.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what the data sheet is for.
Yeah.
It's
I mean
good
that
to
is
know
what
some
physical
theory,
chemists
though.
have a job for, you know.
You know, it's good
Yeah,
to
it keeps them
know.
off the street.
It's still good to know some theories. Like I told you, with the guy who threw the labels of his electrode because he got overexcited. I had to fucking
Yeah.
help him with that. It's a good thing that's one of the few things on the top of my tongue. You know?
Well, mine actually has helpfully, it came wrapped in, actually, it wasn't a really large box considered,
Yeah.
but it was wrapped in EPE foam and it helpfully has TA 1020 written in really large text all over it.
TA 1020.
No, TA for tantalum.
Tantalum. Yeah, I know. TA 1020. What the fuck does a 1020 stand for?
Maybe a date.
Probably the
I
date of
I would
manufacture.
figure it's some sort of proportions.
Or yeah, yeah, I was thinking that too. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean
That
10?
sounds similar to the
Okay,
way you would
okay.
name steel and shit.
I think it means 10 parts iridium, 20 parts tantalum. I don't think so.
Mm.
Oh, it might be 10 by 10 by 2 millimeters.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it might be related to the size of your electrode because
That
from
yeah, that might be the
from
thing too.
what I remember, they barely put any iridium in that. Like barely any. Like I think it's like 90% tantalum oxide with like
Mm-hmm.
10% iridium by weight. But that's like a 14 micron coating on some titanium substrates, so it's barely any iridium. But it still
Well, I
costs a
mean,
fuck ton because iridium is 8 times more expensive than platinum.
yeah, that is just the average rare earth metal moment.
Speaking of which, has the price of iridium gone down again? Because I remember looking at it in early 2020, I think, and it was just
Yeah, yeah.
through the roof.
The price of those electrodes actually went up with the price of iridium? Like, there was a
Imagine, because
delay.
I
You would
know
figure
the price of neodymium magnets is very closely correlated to the price of raw neodymium. Like the
you would
magnetization
figure.
and whole ceramic forming thing is basically
Yeah.
peanuts. It's just the neodymium itself.
So if I check the charts, for some reason in September the price of iridium was insanely high. I know it's in September. It's gone down quite a bit since then. It's also gone down since April, and before that it was way, way, way lower.
Wow.
Oh wait, never mind. This is 5 years. Anyways, so April of 2021, it was very high after being quite low in 2020, end of 2020. Like
Still have
literally at the change of the year, basically, it just tripled in price.
But you know, speaking of electrodes, there are people who still think platinum is the best electrode for chlorate and perchlorate just because of very old, outdated videos. That's simply not true at all. In fact, platinum electrodes kind of suck. I'll be
Just increase
honest.
your surface area, goddammit.
Nah. What about perchlorate cells? You have to run them at a very specific current density. Therefore, you cannot
Okay.
run them at with an increased surface area without literally having 0% yield.
That's depressing. Anyways, I sent a picture of the chart of iridium.
Let's see. I
Ah,
will
there you go.
actually
Thank you.
open it up. I can do that. Wow. That it just went up like a fucking block. It's like if you
It's
invested
fucked
in
up, to be honest. Yeah.
iridium, if you
Absolutely, it was so
invested,
stable before as well.
Yeah.
dude,
I
imagine
don't know
Mark,
what happened there.
imagine
Maybe some mine closed down. Wait, no.
Russia,
Maybe that
man.
was when the first no, but maybe that was when the first proper lockdowns hit in China once again or something.
Oh yeah,
Because
probably.
iridium is mined in China in large amounts, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is it? Wow, that would explain it.
I mean,
Yeah.
many of the rare earths are.
Damn. Yeah,
Amy, pull
there
that
was a
up.
time where platinum was like $23 a gram, I believe. It like was at its lowest during 2020 or something. I heard that. I think that's also when
South
I
Africa, Alaska, Myanmar, Brazil, Russia, and
Okay.
Australia.
So not China for once. Wow.
Yeah, so what happened?
I don't know. I haven't found out yet.
What's some
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, cuz I mean, is iridium even inert like the pure metal? Or is it quite reactive?
It
Iridium
should be
metal is
rather. It
pretty
should
inert.
be. Yeah, it should be rather inert from where it
It
is
is
in
platinum.
periodic table.
Yeah, because people tell me though that gold is the most inert of all the rare earth metal, platinum group
Just in my
metals.
Palestine's opinion.
And then
Well,
people, yeah.
if you become a physicist, it's just an easy answer. You just say iron.
Oh my god, I see where you're trying to get to. That's the best answer ever.
It's true.
It
It's
eventually
true.
becomes iron.
If you
There you go.
increase the time scale to long enough, it's just all iron.
Oh my god, everything decays
Unless we
into
got proton
iron.
decay though.
Oh yeah, then
Well,
then what
yeah,
the fuck is it then? Nothing.
Yeah, probably leptons and photons.
goop.
Shit.
Just
Actually,
subatomic
it might
goop.
still be strange matter.
Yeah, that
Because
Yeah.
apparently there's a point where strange matter is so gravitationally bound that the potential of the entire body becomes lower than that of an iron nucleus.
what?
Well,
That sounds
if it does do
mad.
that, that is that. I mean, thinking about strange matter is also a problem because half of the stuff that is theoretically known about it is also changes every year.
Absolutely. It's derived from those kind of constants that we really haven't nailed down yet. So it's all
Yeah.
speculative at this point. But we
Oh,
haven't
someone
ruled it
else
out,
joined.
which is
What's up?
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm. Yeah, but iridium should be rather unreactive from
Yeah.
where it is.
What was the metal that Nerd Rage showed off in one of his videos? He was like,
ruthenium.
oh yeah.
It does not dissolve in aqua regia, which is true. Doesn't dissolve in aqua regia.
But I'm pretty sure there's other things that don't dissolve in ruthenium. In aqua regia. God damn it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if iridium had its property as well. You
I
really,
mean,
A
the most
silver,
corrosion resistant
silver
metal
doesn't
known
dissolve in aqua
was
regia
19.
because silver
yeah.
will form, silver chloride, which will passivate.
Mm.
Yeah, that's hilarious, isn't it? Silver does not. That's why you actually have to inquart. That's why they refine gold in such a weird way. Where if there's some silver or some copper in it, they can't dissolve it in aqua regia. So they have to add more
Yeah, they
silver
do in
and
chrome.
dissolve it in nitric acid
Yeah.
first.
So I mean, going off purely of ionization energy, gold is more stable than iridium and ruthenium.
Well, I guess
And
that's why
what
they're
about
similar.
platinum though? So even more so than platinum?
Wait, let me just check platinum.
Because I'm curious about that as well. Because like, you know,
Um,
or is platinum better?
I need the German page for it.
The German
So what?
page
No,
always
platinum is actually quite a bit below gold. Platinum is actually
shit.
basically the same as
So
iridium.
why the fuck can't we use gold as an electrode? Seriously. Is it just because chlorine fucks it over so much? And there's
Probably.
chloride in nearly
Yeah, probably
everything.
because anything any bond it forms with an atom is pretty stable. Would it be correct to say it's kinetically the least reactive?
Yeah, I
Because that means
guess.
it can form something, but maybe it breaks down again.
But yet, what's funny is when you
Mm,
try to
mm.
dissolve gold in aqua regia, it dissolves pretty fast, but platinum dissolves slower in aqua regia. That's the
Mm.
hilarious part.
I mean, the ionization energy is still just way lower than, let's say, noble gases, but it is already
Uh,
quite high for gold and stuff.
yeah.
So it's like for gold, it's
Yeah,
9.2 electron
why don't you make
volts.
your anode out of argon?
Dude,
I mean,
imagine.
It's good.
that could possibly be doable.
Dude, you'd
Yeah,
have.
like
Dude, we're talking
10,000
fucking
paragraph argon.
metallic hydrogen, right? Is the thing. Maybe with enough pressure, you can make an argon
With
electrode.
enough pressure, you can turn anything solid.
Yeah, you
I
can turn
mean,
anything into a
except
metal.
helium, maybe.
With enough pressure, you can probably make an anode out of strange matter.
Oh, I wonder what the fuck is the definition for electrons flowing through fucking strange matter at that point, am I right?
Oh, you can actually turn helium solid.
Up,
As long as you have 3 megapascals of pressure and it is below 2 Kelvin.
Yeah, pretty
dude.
high pressure, it forms the crystalline thingy.
And not only high pressure, insanely low temperatures too.
2
2
Kelvin.
Kelvin's not that low.
Yeah, 2 Kelvin
Yeah,
is
you can
is,
get
is fairly cold.
Yeah, but like if you think of
I
like the
mean,
biggest gas giants, they're not gonna get to 2 Kelvin at their core.
no, they're not.
Yeah, but
But they do have
looking
metallic
at
hydrogen, which is also cool.
hmm, yeah, and it might also get some funny states like water.
I'm a fan of how many different phases of ice there are.
Yeah, I recently checked. I think that was 19 last I checked.
Yeah, it's insane.
What my prof said was basically, if you were to look for it, you'd probably find just as many for tons of stuff. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
just that water is just so well researched because there's people that do nothing but try to find new forms of ice.
Imagine though, imagine someone is literally all his life is ice. He lives in the South
Yes, but
Pole. He
I,
does
I don't
research
know what it
about
was called,
ice.
but yeah. Well, no, he's not at the South Pole, but
I
there's a guy that
know
does that. I think he was
that's part
Japanese.
of the joke, okay? Let me live my fantasy of reverse Santa Claus.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, that Japanese one,
No,
right? Don't tell me you're gonna
I
go
think it
about.
was a Japanese researcher.
Yeah, yeah. Because the last time I heard about water in Japanese researcher, I'm traumatized by the water has memory guy.
Yeah.
No,
Actually, I heard of that.
if using high
Um,
voltage though, you can technically give water memory by making, using electrochemical cell and you have electrolytes in the water. having a membrane and having a state at which, the two electrodes in the cell were to be able to hold a charge and be able to send the current would be a 1 and
Yes,
the regular
water
state would be a
semiconductors.
0. You can technically do something like that. It wouldn't really be a semiconductor, but it would be something. Oh wait, I mean, isn't don't our neurons work because of a sodium potassium ion gradient across a membrane that does create a potential difference and it's basically just water?
I don't know if
Well, I
all do
think
that
it's a
there,
little
but
more
some of them.
complicated than the presence of
Yeah,
ions
I know,
making
I
it
know, I
conduct
know.
or not.
They have the fucking pumps and all that. Yeah, that are powered by ATP and a lot of other weird
Yeah,
neurotransmitters that do other.
enzymes do funny stuff. You
Yeah,
really
yeah, okay.
keep that in mind.
But forgetting all that, I think a while ago when someone brought the exact question up about the fucking water memory, I said, well, if you had a series of electrochemical cells, you could technically build a really shitty computer out of water.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't remember what I exactly said, but it actually made sense. But that was a while back, so too bad.
And I really don't remember what that guy was, but there was some guy that was just doing nothing but ice.
Just ice,
I
just
don't even
just.
know if he. I'm not even certain if he was Japanese or what something. I don't know
Oh
where I
my
got that
god,
from, to be
where'd
honest.
you get that
Does the
from?
study of ice have a cool Latin name?
Mm, probably not.
Because what do you say when people ask you what you do for a living? I'm an iceologist.
Iceologist. Oh my god. Ice researcher is probably what they're gonna say. Or a cryo.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna
something
add
of the
cryo
something of the sort.
in their fucking name just for all the cool points.
That's true. Cryo is a pretty cool word.
I'm Mr. Freeze. The real life Frozone. You remember Incredibles? Where's my super suit?
Credibles was cool.
Yeah, that was nice. Of course, there's not too much science in the Incredibles, so that's as far as we're gonna go. Eh, damn, damn, damn. Awkward silence, man.
Trying to find. I'm trying to find the one article that looked at.
Well, meanwhile,
Myself
what?
briefly because I had to blow the dust out of my breadboard. I'm actually working on a more electronics project today.
Oh damn!
Damn, what
You
is
wouldn't
it?
happen to have two SK-170s flying around, would you?
If you tell me what it is, maybe.
That is a BJT, and it is interesting because it goes up to 40 volts, so you can use it
Pretty
in.
cool. That doesn't sound very special.
Well, you could. It is usually used in inline preamplifiers for microphones, and I'm trying to cobble one together so I don't have to pay the $80 that are fathead costs.
Are you sure it's a BJT and not a JFET?
It's a BJT. I am like 95% sure.
Well, I wonder what's so special about it then.
I don't know. I just know that I am yet to find anyone that says there is any reasonable
picture of it?
alternatives to it.
Do you have a picture of it?
I have a datasheet.
Oh, go ahead.
Oof, 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 oof. So then,
Standard package.
I actually wonder, do I dare do molten salt electrolysis? I really don't like it. That's one of the only electrochem I really actually dislike. Anything related
It
to
sounds
molten
very sketchy.
salts. Yeah, the shit just explodes, man, or does things you don't want to, or catch things fire, or
Well, you know
shorts
what?
out your.
That sounds like a good time if you ask me.
My
No.
brother in Christ, it literally says field effect transistor junction type. It's a JFET.
Oh
I
my
don't know,
god.
man. It said BJT somewhere. Trust me.
Dude, it's a BJT sources. Trust me, bro. You have to.
No, but seriously.
Revealed to me in a dream.
I dreamt about it one day.
Is that actually something Mendeleev wrote, by the way?
No, it was
Um,
Kekulé. It was
surely.
Kekulé. It wasn't Mendeleev, the guy
Oh,
who
really?
found the molecular structure
It
for
was
benzene.
yeah. Yeah, and that's like the story behind it. It was revealed to him in a dream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember the story. He dreamt about the Ouroboros. I didn't know that he actually put that in the footnote.
He
That's an
did.
absolutely Chad move.
Come to think of it, the
He's the
fact that it
real
is from some
dude.
okay, I found where they said it was a BJT and it's fucking random ass uh online forum where I also cobbled together a circuit for this because I don't do electronics.
I'm not gonna lie, I would rather trust the datasheet of the people that
I
actually
didn't actually read the datasheet.
Oh,
I don't
imagine.
I don't do electronics, trust me.
Okay, so because in I think it's condenser mics, they actually use a JFET. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything that makes this particular JFET really expensive unless your microphone's like $300.
I know that this one is sort of hard to get because no one will fucking sell it to me.
Honestly,
Sorry.
just get any one with more or less similar values in the datasheet. You go on Mouser, you do a parametric search, and you do I don't know, you probably want to look for the YFS value because that's
Yeah.
basically the gain of the transistor.
If we're gonna talk
To
about
be completely
electronics,
honest,
we need
the the
we need Giannis here. We need Giannis in this
the
podcast one day.
circuit that I'm trying to reproduce is totally fucked up anyways. I'm not sure if that would even work, but just look at that.
Well, if there's a hand painted schematic of it, it's probably
Oh no, it's
more
not.
or less
It's like a proper schematic. So
yeah, okay. If you're gonna DIY it, just put in any JFET really. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I
really,
mean, what's the worst that can happen? Does it just
I mean,
blow up?
it runs at 48 volts. That's the thing that worries me.
Well,
Well,
start at 12, right?
I can't. I have no control over the voltage. That
oh,
is the voltage
so
that comes out of
so are
that's,
there
and
any?
it's also it's phantom power. It's also in a very strange arrangement.
Oh, you want to DIY a Sirius microphone, huh?
Yeah, I have the microphone I'm using right now and another one, and I'm running them at way too high gain, which makes them sound like absolute shit. And I'd prefer to not have to do that.
So you need this component to fix your microphone.
Yeah, but
Basically,
I don't think there's anything that makes JFET very special. Like if you really want me to, I'm gonna find you some alternatives and they're gonna be $10.
no. If you say if you say that I can just use any, I'll just use
I
any.
mean, you
I
know,
probably have some somewhere.
characteristics. You want a similar drain current, right? That's just the limitation values
Yeah.
that can use. The gate
Scratching
source
my
cutoff is
back.
probably related to noise, and then the forward transfer admittance is something like the gain, and you want that to be more or less the same. Otherwise, you're gonna have weird characteristic curves and it might not work, or you might have to swap some resistors, and it just gets too complicated to
Yeah.
really
I mean,
effectively work out. But if you can get these values close, I don't see why it wouldn't work.
I have another
yeah.
weird question. You know, speaking of audio stuff involving transistors, there was this one person, this audiophile, who said something, right? He said that all of these modern silicon transistors do not beat vacuum tubes and prefers the
Yeah, that's
old
bullshit.
Well,
vacuum
it's true in
tubes
some sense.
amps.
Well,
It's true in all the wrong senses.
I know my way around vacuum tubes. That is the thing I know. I don't know transistors. But I know that transistors should just be better because vacuum tubes are a fucking pain in the ass.
Here's the thing. A vacuum tube has way higher bandwidth than a transistor. You can do hundreds of megahertz. You can do tens of gigahertz with a vacuum tube. You can't do that with a MOSFET.
But you can't do it nearly as cleanly.
the thing is, a transistor is a solid state thing, right? If you
Yeah.
have a tube, right, you're playing music on your tube amp, and someone bumps into your amplifier, it's gonna make noise. The filament's gonna be all wiggling around in there,
Yeah,
and
I
that's gonna
know.
Oh
But
yeah,
affect
and
the transducer, and that just sucks.
completely ignoring that, there's also other issues. Tubes are just not, they are just not very stable to noise. They
That's
like to be
true.
very noisy. And you also need tons of voltage to run them,
well, yeah.
meaning they are horribly inefficient.
Yeah, they also
Uh,
need heated filaments.
yeah, and they also tend to distort stuff.
Yes.
Ye-
So there are ways in which tubes are better, but they're pretty much exactly those ways that you wouldn't care about as an audiophile.
Hmm.
You don't give a shit.
And
Your amplifier has a bandwidth of 1 megahertz or 1,000. You don't hear anything past 50K anyway.
20K.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
this
but
this
I'm,
dude
I'm just
claims.
being really
Okay,
conservative.
I know, I understand, but this dude was claiming that the music just feels different with that extra
Well,
range.
it would feel different because these things introduce quite a bit of distortion. They have like a sound to them because they distort the signal.
That's true, and that's something that people
When
actually
I
appreciate in
heard
Sudan.
the actual audio
Yeah.
amplifier, by the way, it kind of doesn't sound very remarkable. It does sound distorted, but I was being polite. I didn't want to tell him that.
That was probably for the better. But
I
this
think they're just
distortion
used to
and
it
this limited
because this is an
bandwidth of
old
tubes,
guy, by the way.
if you do it right, it makes a kind of soft quality, puts it to
Yeah.
the music, and that can be nice, right? Depending on what you listen to and what you expect.
Hmm.
So it's a big nostalgia thing.
And
Can
yeah, and
definitely be appreciated.
for something like, let's say, radio or something, you might think the tubes are just better because tube radio is going to be better than a transistor radio, but that is just due to the fact that no one is paying $500 for a radio nowadays, or 5,000 if you want to calculate it to the right amount adjusted for inflation. So like that's not a fair comparison. Because that is something you hear sometimes. People say, okay, but why does radio then just sound shit nowadays? That's
Uh,
just purely down to the fact that you're listening to it on a $10 device instead of a $500 device.
See, yeah,
Well,
it's
and the
just
fact that they keep playing the
quality.
same shitty pop music all the time.
Ah,
Well, you can still hook up a tube radio nowadays, and you will notice that it sounds better. You will notice that significantly, but that is really just down to the fact
just
that
because it's a better
normal radios
quality
are shit.
thing that isn't
Yeah,
fucking $10 or something.
yeah. Because there are no high-end radios. There used to be high-end radios, but there aren't any. So yeah.
Well, that explains a lot then. Okay, I think you've answered my suspicions.
That sort of bias exists for quite a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, because
Where
I wanted to confirm because you were talking about audio and stuff, and I wanted to make sure that is the person crazy or am I crazy?
Yeah, well, I have no problem with people saying, I just like the technology. It's a part of my past, and I've just always liked it, and that's perfectly fine, right?
Mhm.
I'm sitting here right now, going out of my way to make the lights in my room powered by solar power, and I rig the whole thing up myself. It's completely irrational, but I like doing it.
Yeah,
And I appreciate anyone who says it like that. I just want to do it. It makes me feel nice. But as
yeah,
soon as you start trying to convince me that it's actually objectively better because it has tubes in it, because it's analog, it's nah,
yeah. That was the
it's
argument.
wrong.
You pretty much summed up the argument.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just one nice thing about, let's say, tube radios is that, since they're all analog, you can actually understand what's going on inside them. That is what, to me personally, is sort of interesting about them.
Maybe that explains
Barely.
a lot too, because they do like messing with audio like that. They also had a DJ side to them.
Hmm. No, because what I can do is I can go in with like my oscilloscope and I can just probe two spots on the thing and I see a signal that already is
You can do that
somewhat
with
reasonable.
transistor radio.
You can do that with the transistor radio, but it's just a pain because for example, you have to find stuff on a PCB, which you also don't have to do on these
Well,
older things.
transistor radio doesn't mean it has a fucking microcontroller it
Yeah,
deals
of course. Let's say old transistor radios, okay,
Yeah,
but modern transistor radios, no chance, because those are just an IC.
totally.
I mean, old transistor radios are basically just normal tube radios with the tubes replaced with transistors.
So
My dad
that's
gave me
like
an
the
amplifier.
amazing technology that's missing, not the tubes. That sounds good. Or am I
Mm-hmm.
crazy?
It's just the fact that it's higher quality.
So yeah, they just decide, oh look, transistors, let's start making everything cheaper, simplify everything, make it, not as good as the tube radios. And now people will think tube radios are superior, even though the very first transistor radios were actually better.
Yeah, but then again, the average person can now afford to just buy a radio, and it's not some sort of investment.
Yeah, that
Like
is
I have like the old bill for one of these ancient radios. Now it's a month's salary that thing was worth.
damn.
I think yeah, and it's not even a high end device. It's like for the time, it's just a normal thing.
So it's kind of like
But
it's like an old computer, right? Like retro gaming. That's a
Yeah.
novelty. It's like you enjoy the style back then. Maybe you get it for nostalgia, but it's obviously not better than a modern fucking gaming system.
in the
Never
case
will
of
be.
let's say proper amplifiers, yes. If I were to say, in comparison to a modern radio, the tube radio is probably better, despite the fact that it consumes. If you ignore the fact that it consumes tons of power and is gigantic, it's probably better.
Yeah. But for like an amplifier, no.
Yeah, for something that you don't only have low end devices left, like an amplifier, it
Ah,
no chance.
because yeah, that was the argument of the guy that the old amplifiers are better. So yeah, I guess it really is just down to that nostalgia effect or a few other things.
There's
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
also psychologically an effect
Yeah,
happening, right?
yeah.
All the old brands, they eventually stop, being the cutting edge of technology and they get an economic disadvantage. And before you know it, they get bought up by some Chinese company and they're just reusing the brand, but they're actually selling you bullshit. And so
Yeah.
consumers are like, "Oh, I recognize this brand. I'm going to buy this, piece of technology," and they buy it and it's shit.
And they
And
realized the
so
old one
this
was 10
happens
times
across the board. It
better.
happens with TVs, calculators, fucking watches, and you just grow to hate it. You're like, oh no,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just don't make it like they used to. But it's not really because they lose the ability to do it. It's just economics, really,
Yeah.
and the fact that
It's,
brands can be deceiving.
it's also like the idea where Segway was bought up by China and then all the fucking hoverboards started catching fire and they stopped.
Yes.
That was hilarious. I remember when I've seen those things all over the street, now nobody uses them.
Yeah, it was a massive fad.
Yeah. Technically, it's the most successful electric vehicle.
Well, it also is a pretty good one actually by some metrics. Like it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it still fulfills the purpose of transporting you somewhere
Yeah.
conveniently, more or less. Right? You can
At
still get
walking
range on. You have
speed
to do
and
nothing. You just stand on it until you're where you want.
yeah. I was about to get one, but thought it was extremely stupid.
It's cringe.
I literally saw it. I'm like,
Mm,
what the hell is this device? I'm like, there's no way this can ever be a skateboard. It's like you try to do tricks with this and it will just blow up. Oh, what's up, Igor? joined just in time.
Oh, well, hello.
Hello.
We were talking about electronics for the past 20 minutes.
Oh, well, that's not really my field, but
That's
it,
why you're here, man. We can add a bit more chemistry to our chemistry catboy. Phew. But it's okay. Electronics is good too. I actually enjoyed it, and it answered one of my deep burning questions.
yeah, well, adding chemistry to chemistry. So,
Uh,
what's up?
yeah, we be
Proceeding.
receiving, man.
Hey, got him. We're about an hour into a conversation about, oh God, what really? I
What
mean,
really?
recently we
Yeah,
arrived at JFETs earlier.
I listened
Oh,
through YouTube for a bit,
that's
and
pretty
I got
difficult.
to the part about the technetium urea part.
Oh my god.
Yes, technetium pills.
Bionerds
Yeah,
technician
actually, we
piss.
should
Hmm.
convince more people that get thyroid scintigraphies to collect their piss,
Oh my god. Collecting
and then we
We
people's.
should.
extract technetium from it.
Yes, and then we build a bomb.
Oh my god. No, 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 no. We
No, we
No,
we
sell it
can we can make a
back to them. We
no we
we
can make a bomb with the urea nitrates that we extract from the
Exactly. We
just like in
extract
our
both
lab.
the urea nitrates and the thorium, and we use the thorium and the urea
Oh,
nitrates to make a dirty bomb.
well,
oh my
what about the
god.
phosphorus? Turn that into white phosphorus and get a dirtier bomb.
Oh.
There
A
there
dirty
is there
incendiary.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of manuals on how to extract phosphorus from piss.
Yeah, let's not talk too much about that before someone gets any funny ideas.
Yeah, that's not. Come on, man. Actually, we already talked about that on podcast number 2, so we don't have to bring it up again.
White phosphorus?
Right.
Yeah, we did. Because we were talking about drying sulfuric acid with phosphorus pentoxide, and we already touched up on this, so we don't need no more.
sad.
One
Yeah.
thing though, all these Teflon pans, right? Teflon's a forever chemical. What
Yeah.
would future civilizations think of all this weird buried Teflon parts that we have now? I wonder what they're.
Everything else is gone, just Teflon is left.
Yeah.
Just archaeologists.
What are they gonna see? What are they gonna think?
Um,
Well, I don't think the knowledge of what we do with it is gonna get lost, really.
I
but
mean,
how
are
do
you
you
sure
break down
about that?
Teflon?
Because have you heard of those weird ancient artifacts that they have no fucking clue what was for?
Yeah, it was from a time when people didn't write shit down. We have the internet now.
Yeah, but like
And also, our
assuming we go
chemicals
back to
have
the
way
stone
more
ring.
specific purposes than,
Ah,
some funny rock or metal thing you can find in
Yeah,
there.
that fair.
that
That
is
is
Yeah,
true.
true.
I mean, to be
scientists.
fair, PTFE has like infinite uses, so let's not get
That's
into that too much.
Well,
yeah,
what was I
yeah.
gonna say? They probably used it for something that had to withstand corrosive conditions. And they gave up.
Or shouldn't stick or shouldn't have a lot of friction.
Scientists are now ready to use enzymes. They genetically modify the enzymes to break down certain types of plastic,
Yeah,
and
but
Yes, that's
not
it's
cool. I
just
love
very
PET.
enzymes.
impressive.
Not
Well,
PET
Except for
though.
the gray goo.
hmm?
Not PET. That cannot be broken down by those enzymes.
No, but there's also like alternative plastics. Like there's one new plastic from lactic acid,
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
polyester.
not
PLA.
new.
Pretty common
That's
one.
literally every 3D printer filament out there.
Well, I mean,
Well,
there's
and
also nylon and ABS and
yeah,
stuff.
but like PLA is like every time you hear PLA, you think 3D printer.
Fair. Although we did make that in the lab one times. So I guess
That's
there's also different
seriously,
uses.
we need Bohemian Hacks in here. He wanted to make his homemade PLA from toxic black mold that he found he dissolves, he uses it to break down paper into
Mm-hmm.
sugar, and then the resulting sugar into what the fuck is it called? Into alcohol, then alcohol into lactic acid, or no, it was sugar into lactic acid directly by bacteria found in yogurt. Literally just pour yogurt into your sugar wash, and there you go. And then he
Mm.
wants to make it into
Well,
PLA.
it's actually fairly difficult. Well, it is fairly easy just to make PLA, but it's actually fairly difficult to get it to a point where you can actually use it to print. That really requires
Yeah,
industrial type
yeah.
processes.
Because you have to actually get it so that you have the right glass transition temperature, and that requires
Yes, and for that you have to have very good control over the molecular
yeah,
mass which you produce,
the average
which
molecular
you
weight
really only have at
of
industrial scale.
each fucking, like the average
I think it
molecular
should be
weight,
around
yeah.
100,000 or something.
Yeah, and if it's like
So
greater
like
than
it should
that,
be,
it's gonna be too stiff. If it's less than that, then it's gonna be too
and
weak.
well, and the melting point is going to move around as well.
Yep, and
You
that
wouldn't want that.
will, yeah, that would be kind of crap. Imagine you just have a agglomerate of various different molecular lengths of these polymer chains, and then you realize it doesn't fucking work. You realize the whole
Yeah,
thing basically just falls apart at different melting points, and you're
if you
never
don't
gonna.
have a mass spectrometer at home, you're not going to be able to make that at a small scale.
Yeah, you won't be able to standardize and see what the hell your thing is actually producing and try to, plus you would need like a, I think, I don't think know exactly how they make the PLA. They would need some kind of
Mm,
like reactor.
uh,
What exactly is the
yeah,
process again?
it's a condensation.
Yeah, I know it's condensation
And
polymerization
they
type
have
shit.
these really pretty big what do you call them?
Is it like in
Yeah,
tanks, or
it would be reactors really.
is it
It
a CSTR, or is it a PFR?
I only know what they look like from the outside.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Are they big, tanks with anything that stirs and goes burr? Or are they just long tubes that are coiled or shaped in weird ways?
They are long. I think they would be closer to long tubes.
It's a PFR. Typical. Most polymerization reactors are PFRs. There's actually a reason
Well,
for that.
it isn't. I mean, it's a polycondensation.
Guess. Probably why.
So it's not even a polymerization. Well, it is a polymerization, but you wouldn't call it a
Yeah.
polymerization.
It's whatever, okay? I think the only polymer I know that uses a CSTR in its industrial process would be polyethylene terephthalate, or PET.
Yeah, I mean PET is a bit more complex in its making than PLA.
Yeah, PLA just fucking yeets some single monomer, and it just condenses with itself to form chains, really.
Yeah, I mean that's the gist of it.
Uh,
Hey, you know about that
But I wonder, do they
garden chair?
control the reaction? Like, what parameters are actually important to get the desired length, if you can say it? Like, would it be something like reaction time, or rather residence time if it's long tubes, temperature, and feed pressure, or what?
Wait, I found the process. I found a process. They
Nice.
actually seems use uh everything.
Everything that I just said? Damn.
I mean, check it out. I sent it in the channel.
Okay. Everything. Okay. So they do use CSTRs over here.
Yes, but then it goes
To
into
SMR. Okay.
SMRs,
What the
and then it goes through just stabilization.
Yeah.
And
devolatilization to remove anything else that isn't there. And then finally, they make pellets. Woohoo!
yeah, and those pellets, would be turned into filament then. Because that's the funniest bit. The
But they,
pellets are made by making filament, which you chop up,
okay, I'm
and
I'm
then they are
reading
remelted to make the filament.
the thing on the right over here. So the mixer and the first two CSTRs are literally just dispersing the catalyst evenly, and B is where they
Hmm.
actually add other shit into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they,
I do remember. I think it was some sort of tin compound that we used
so
as a catalyst when we made
catalyst,
it.
yeah, and then you have monomer, but then you also have lactic acid added. What the hell does that mean? Isn't lactic acid itself the monomer?
Um, yeah, lactic acid is the monomer,
Yeah,
and
I guess it's just saying that catalyst and monomer are now prop mixed in the after the second CSTR, which to be honest you can't even
I
call
mean, they
right.
might they might just
Ah, wait, wait,
throw
wait,
in
wait. It
some.
says pre-polymerization reactors. So
Mhm.
so that means that you end up with a pre-polymer and they add a bit of monomer or something because that's what it says B goes
That
in
would
there.
be that would probably make it easier to control your molecular mass.
Yeah, yeah, that's why they've done this. See, I just want to know why the fuck they've done that, right? And then the SMRs, like when they actually build the polymer chain to their specified, desirable
Yeah,
properties and all of that. And C says killing
yeah,
agent. So C at the next static mixer would just cease the polymerization to prevent further reaction
yeah.
downstream. And then
That would probably just
everything else is just
it's just
downstream processing to remove excess monomer and other volatiles and
yeah,
killing
it's
agent.
probably pulling out the monomer, pulling out maybe solvents if they need
Yeah,
them.
yeah, because he's
Might
stripping.
actually not even need them,
Yeah.
and pulling out the catalyst
Okay, yeah, I understand the
or whatever the
process.
catalyst is after it is killed.
There we go. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I took chemical engineering, so I guess, I sort of remember,
Okay, so do I.
yeah. Yeah, we both did. We're
So,
both technically chemical engineers. What about,
goddamn.
what about, Brainiac? Did you take chemistry in university, or are you also plumbers like us?
I did not. I actually have no formal education in chemistry. I'm just a programmer.
Oh, damn. Shit, I didn't know that. What about you, Igor?
Oh, I just study it. I'm just still a student.
Oh yeah, so am I.
Yeah. Funny, funny.
But
Okay.
I oh I
You
found
cheated.
an even more detailed one. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Let's actually review some of these process flow sheets and try to make sense of them. Dude,
All
this
right,
is
I think I'm gonna have to visit the page because this sheet isn't particularly
dude, just
high
screenshot
resolution.
it. I mean,
I
oh crap. Don't tell me it's really low
it's
res. Like it's gonna be a
it's
pixelated
very low
mess.
res. I'm trying to
Oh,
figure out whether I can get it at higher res.
well, I can't
Nope.
Okay, forget it. Ah,
Why
goddamn.
why why is that so low res? That makes it
Dude,
literally useless.
why though? Do they just want to like flex that they have an amazing plant and no, you can't have it unless you work for us?
That makes it literally useless. Wait, oh, it has a publication with it.
There you go. So
Oh.
it was a research
Oh
paper.
no, it's Springer. Oh, fuck you, Springer. I
Wait,
hate
wait. So
Springer.
Sci-Hub
Anyways,
can't bypass Springer?
oh, it might be able to. I just don't like Springer.
Ah, I see. I'll check it out later then. We've already checked out once, so it doesn't matter.
I wait. I'll just try to get
You
a
know,
proper version
maybe
of this graph, maybe at high res, and I'll
maybe
send it to you.
next podcast what we can do is imagine if we quite literally start reviewing research
Found one.
papers and making our own process flow sheets just for the fun of it.
It will. Yeah, I found a version that is slightly higher resolution, just very slightly.
I was actually thinking
It's
of
in the
making
PDF.
videos like that. What if I start making purely chemical engineering videos?
Would be funny. I don't think that exists yet.
Yeah, no, it
Um,
does. It does. I found some. Like maybe I'll make a series on DWSIM, which is the open source chemical engineering
mhm.
process simulation program. I might actually make a few videos on that. I actually plan to make a series where I find some random research paper with some process and try to recreate or simulate the results or simulate their operating conditions and then see if it fucking looks.
That would be quite neat.
Because I plan to do something like that just for the hell of it.
Yeah, so I posted it in the channel.
Dude, this some fucking premium. This is like the type of PLA that isn't shit. The one above is complete shit compared to this. Like the one above is made in Guangdong. The one below is made in fucking I don't know, made in USA. And there's and right next to the plant there's just Angus beef growing because nothing is more American than Angus beef.
Well, yeah, there's probably a farm somewhere next to the
I
plant
wouldn't
because
even be surprised.
this doesn't use lactic acid to start out.
Dude, I bet you the fucking farms supply the lactic acid. They make cheese and milk and fucking.
No.
I think most
The
I know they
mass
don't. I
produced
know they
lactic acid
don't.
is
I know they don't. Okay, they use bacteria and a bunch of fucking sugars and
yeah.
waste.
This process does
would be
that, from
funny.
what I see. This process does seem to do that, if I see that correctly. They are fermenting some sort of
Wait,
glucose
let's
stuff.
fucking see. Oh yeah, they are. Holy shit. They're literally okay. It says sulfuric acid. They're using sulfuric acid to. What are they using that for? Are they using that to break down? I don't know.
Maybe they're just using it to make sure the pH is at the right level. Let's just
Yeah,
assume that,
I
because it's only
think.
2%.
Yeah. I think it's just a pH controlling thing.
But if you look at Unit 30, I think that is the area around where they are making
Yeah. I see
lactic acid.
fermenter hydrocyclone that separates the pulp from the fucking or the wash from the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the liquid product, and then you have the fucking calcium lactate. So they add lime in order to create that, so they can then filter out and ensure it's pure and isn't full of crud. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's what they're using the sulfuric acid for. Look.
Oh, they're turning it into lactate and then they're turning it back into acid.
Yeah. They're
Is that
using
what
the
they're doing?
sulfuric acid to the calcium
Oh, yeah.
lactate to form calcium sulfate and lactic acid, and the calcium
Oh, yeah,
sulfate can get filtered out, and the
that's
lactic
actually
acid
reasonable.
at 7% can go through ion exchanges to remove any excess sulfate and all that shit from the yeah, it removes excess sulfuric acid. The reason why is ion exchange membranes
Hmm.
are cool, yeah. I mean, Brainiac knows how
That
cool ion exchange membranes are. He uses them for his thing. All right,
yeah, but the main part of this is actually
liquid extraction column. I can probably guess they probably use something like you know, maybe something like ethyl acetate because I heard no, they use dodecanol. The fuck?
yeah,
That's some mad.
10 carbons in an alcohol. I do actually think that the main part of this is actually just purifying and concentrating the lactic
Yeah,
acid to a
yeah.
point where it can be used.
So
Because I
shit.
think only unit, yeah, only
Yeah,
the
only units
area 60 to 80 is
60, 70, and 80 actually makes the PLA. Everything before that is like making the thing to make the thing to make the PLA.
hmm.
No, it's technically making the thing to purify the thing to then concentrate the thing to make the PLA.
And I think I don't know what's going on in unit 60 and 70 because
Let me
70
see.
has a depolymerization reactor in it.
Okay. 60. Let's see what the fuck's going on. Okay, 60 says oligomerization reactor. And you have a distillation column that removes excess lactic acid. Okay? And you have a depolymerization reactor. Wait, what the fuck are we doing?
I think the I'm not sure, but I think they're polymerizing it and then depolymerizing it either
Why?
to purify it further or to control the molecular weight.
Yeah, I think they're just controlling the molecular weight with this cursed method. It's like okay, I'm thinking they wait. There are bypass lines. Yeah. You see there's a bypass line, right?
That's not a bypass line. That feeds back.
Wait,
Oh yeah, and actually, yeah,
okay.
here it says that PLA LMW. LMW is low molecular weight,
Low
and
molecular
it
weight.
turns into lactide coming out of it. So they turn it into PLA, they turn it back into lactide,
Okay.
and everything that is left that is still PLA LMW is funneled back
So
into the
why the
beginning of the
fuck are
depolymerization.
they doing
So they
this
actually
again?
turn it back into only lactide, and then they repolymerize.
Yeah, but why?
I figure it's to make sure, for one, it is absolutely 100% only lactide that goes in, because they have polymerized and they now have really just the monomer, and they also don't have lactic acid at this point.
Okay, I understand now. That's why they've done it that way. Because I'm like, this is just the most circular thing I've ever seen. What's the point? And then I looked at it and said, oh, there we go. There we go. There we freaking go.
Yeah, so they're turning the lactic acid into lactide, and then that is being turned into the final PLA.
Yeah. Dude.
That's fucking cursed, man. That's
Dude,
fucking cursed.
I'm like, you're basically now, you're building it. It's like you build a fucking tower of Lego and you destroy it. And to build a tower of Lego out of the rubble.
Yeah, but that makes sure you have
Yeah,
the
it's
perfect PLA.
that's
Because out of
just
lactide, you can make higher molecular weight PLA than out of
then out of
polylactic
lactic acid itself. Okay, it makes sense actually, but it still looks extreme. It just sounds wrong, you know.
You know, the way lactide turns into PLA is also kind of funny.
Oh my
Because
god.
lactide is actually like a dimer of
Yeah.
both of these polymers, of these monomers. So
Yeah.
basically, it just opens up and then it plugs into the new ones.
Oh god.
Kind of strange. So that's a different process of making it, though.
I mean, is it really
'Cause the
different?
other
We
guys,
just added extra steps for like the precursors. The other guys, that one above just looks
the
like
other guys use lactic acid, and
oh.
then they have it run through multiple reactors to make sure that it is the right molecular weight.
Meanwhile, the
And
other
these
guys just
use
fucking
lactide.
lactide as
Well, they
their
make the lactide, and then they use lactide and only have it run through one polymerization reactor.
So who's saving money here?
Well, I figure since the first guys have to buy lactic acid and these guys don't, probably this bigger process.
Yeah. No, but if we discount the raw material, like, sources whose polymerization process is better.
Well, if we ignore the raw material, we don't really know the results that is.
Ah, shit.
But I figure just due to the sheer amount of purification stages in the first one, the lactic acid that goes into the process is definitely as clear as the one that you would purchase. So
Yeah.
really, it all comes down to whether lactide in one reactor is as good or better than lactic acid
So
through
we
two
won't
reactors.
know unless we fucking know, basically.
We won't know unless we try.
Or unless we find a research paper that has particular results and wait,
Well-
who the fuck has DWSIM? Let's fucking DWSIM this one day, I swear. Can we even
This is actually an
even-
economic assessment of the process, this paper.
Oh
So maybe
shit.
it actually already has
Yeah,
that
see,
in here.
I was thinking, surely it must be somewhere. Like, then we have to find the one for the previous one and check them. See, hey, look, we need an energy and an economic analysis on both of them. Maybe they already have those. Let's fucking compare different PLA processes and find which one is from China based on how cheap it is.
I don't know what they're comparing to. I haven't read this, but this is an article that talks about that is doing the economic assessment of this process.
Damn. Because I'm just thinking, whichever one's made in China would be cheap and shit quality compared to the other one, which is gonna be more expensive.
Well, yeah, or you might have one that is made for just 3D printers and one that is made for
Yeah, yeah.
actually industry.
There you go. That I'm just trying to put some spice onto it.
And then again, this is probably a much larger scale process, considering that they
They
make
they
their own
make their
lactic
own
acid.
lactic acid from.
They do the full thing,
They
and I
basically
don't
do the
think.
whole shebang, man. They buy
Mm,
your old yard trimmings and they make it turn into your some fucking 3D printer filament.
yeah, so I think this is for one a much larger process, and like this is maybe an entire industrial site, while the other one is just
Some guy's
one shed.
fucking hangar
No, but
or
yeah, that
warehouse.
process would probably fit in a single warehouse, while the second one would definitely need its own site.
Yeah, yeah, you basically need an entire factory with like towers and towers of columns and shit. But yeah, it's good to have you on the podcast. Finally, another chemical engineer I can relate with when we talk about this shit. Be like,
Finally.
finally, man. You try to show a chemist this, and they're like, what the fuck is all this?
Oh, it's all. I think it's all explained in here.
Yeah. Literally, just read it, fucking hell. Be like, look at all these funny symbols. Yeah, that shit mixes things. That shit separates things. That shit,
The fun, the
you
funny
know,
symbols are way cooler than actually reading, though.
yeah. You have the funny symbols. Yes. Hey, look, that filter looks kind of like I don't know, fucking yeah. Funny symbols are always
Yeah,
cooler.
it's actually explained what they're doing here.
Yep.
So, um,
Eh,
it doesn't exactly say why they're turning it into lactite. I think I don't see that right here.
Damn, it's not in the not in. They're not explaining. Maybe there's some
But at
fucking
least they're explaining what they're doing. They're not
yeah.
explaining why they're doing it, but they're explaining what they're doing. That is also a step in the right direction, I'd say.
They just don't want to tell you why. Maybe for certain reasons.
Hmm.
Damn, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. It's getting late. How long has this podcast been running, man? It's been running for 1 hour and 37 minutes. Should we call it
Yeah,
here?
we might as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
all
think we have a good run.
I'm all plumbered out. Let's. We talked about okay, so we talked about bionerd, like those previous YouTubers that inspired.
Yeah,
We talked about transistors and
my lack of
electronics
knowledge on
and
transistors.
your lack of knowledge on thinking that the BJT was a BJT even it was a JFET.
Yeah,
And
how
then
could I make such a mistake?
finally we talked about industrial processes. Nice, I like this. This was a great podcast, but I'm still calling it bionerd23's Technetium piss vial because that was the highlight. Anyway,
That was.
see you
Stay
guys
tuned
on
until next time
Saturday.
when Nero reveals what overpotential is.
Ah, yeah,
Do
that
not want to
too.
miss this one.
Oh my god.
Yes, you will have some research to do.
Yes,
Oh
on
yeah.
Saturday I will actually prepare that. And I'll see you guys. See everybody. See you guys later, y'all.
Fine, y'all.
Yeah.